Carter.
Hey, yeah, good afternoon.
Hey, how y'all feeling?
You know, we do be excited when we get on here and just kind of deal with each other, have, you know, constructive dialogue. We've been having constructive dialogue all day. It's been a beautiful, week as it is, right?
Yes, it has.
So how y'all feeling? What y'all
Pretty
week
good.
been?
You know what? I feel good. I got up today. I have even put it on my post. I felt like new money today. I don't know what it was. I was feeling good today.
Why was Mickey hating on the post though? Like he didn't want to say the affirmation.
Listen, but when he read it, he said it, so I'm all good. That's why I said, you read it, you said it.
Mickey, if anybody,
You gotta say the affirmations. You gotta do the meditation and the affirmations every day.
You gotta claim it, brother.
That's
you know,
right. And
if
he said, I'm not saying it. I said, well, you said it when you read it.
Right.
You read it, you said it.
He ready.
Because because of what it is, we're trying to make sure that we all are healthy. You know, you got to get into the spirit.
That's right.
Those got to be inside your fibers. You know.
Yes.
That's why I do it every morning. I post it every morning because I want everybody to feel like this new money. I'm telling you, that's how I felt this morning.
So excited to be alive.
Man,
New
I'm
money.
telling you, I opened my eyes. I was like, oh shoot, I'm feeling good. I got up feeling spry, brother. Let me get up and get this business out the way. I felt like new money. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
But that's dope. Like you said, I can feel the excitement even when you lead or put those posts out there. I can feel the excitement, right? You know what I'm saying? Especially when we just waking up and we meditate, we practice in silence. I didn't know how much silence meant a lot to me in life, you know, especially when things can be chaotic. And when you really take time out just to reflect, you know, just let your mind just kind of take a pace, and then, you know, you just kind of breathe. I mean, man, it does wonders. So those meditations, the act of being silent, and then just kind of breathing. I think, you know, those things we take for granted.
We do.
We don't really realize how good it makes us feel.
And I think when saying that, you know, we got to do a little recap on just this past weekend as far as the block party. So let's talk a little bit about that, and we got to cap it off with, as the sister was saying about, so often we have been mimicking behavior. So it's almost fashionable to complain, gossip, or spill tea. So like the sister was talking about, the affirmation and being excited. You know, we need to get back to how we can give each other our flowers while we're alive and pat each other on the back.
Absolutely.
And not be ashamed. You know, a lot of times you compliment somebody, they be like, oh no, or something like that. Embrace it, celebrate it. I mean, really get your balking ears, you know, get your ears pointed up.
That's right.
And lean into it.
Yeah.
Don't lean out of it.
That's right.
If somebody gonna give you a compliment, lean into it.
That's
It
right.
could be, hey, look, that's a nice pair of shoes you got on. Just say, hey, thank you.
Like
Or,
I said to you today, I'm like, boy, you looking really dapper today.
yeah, and that makes you feel good.
Man, I'm
because
telling you.
because again, a lot of times in our lives, like Juwan was saying about being challenged. And so often, you know, the world tries to beat us up. And I think it's very important, you know, if you look at Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, and that split right there, what took place, because when you think about how even though they were not blood related, they were blood brothers.
Right.
Come on now.
And then you had, you know, Elijah Muhammad step in there and lay down that mess, in my opinion, you know, because again, when you think about what was going on in the nation, a lot of that was unacceptable, you know. And so I do believe that Muhammad Ali, even as he passed, I think he regretted not healing that relationship between him and Malcolm. And that's something
I know he did.
Hey, come on now. And that's something we can't allow to happen, guys.
Right.
You know, I don't care who it is. If your mom, your father, or whoever it is, guys, reconnect. Reach out. You know, do what you can to reconnect with those that you love, because always remember, man, love is an act. When you act it out, it becomes a fact.
And you also have to remember that when you do that, though, even if it's not reciprocated, or even if they don't receive it, or anything like that, you've done your part. But you always have to make sure that you do your part, because you can't let those people keep you vibrating low. You still got to vibrate high regardless of how anybody feels, says, or whatever they do. You still have to vibrate higher. And so just remember that you still do your part, because when you do your part, if it wasn't reciprocated, anything like that, you can lay down and you can go to bed knowing that you've done everything that you could do in your power.
That is true, right? You know, you don't want to. I know my grandma used to say, you don't want to go to bed angry anyway. You know? And I think that stands true today. We don't know how to take compliments from each other. We've been stanging and ratting on each other and talking bad about one another, and we become comfortable and content with talking bad with each other.
And you know, when you say that, people make a living off of, the gossip shows and then spilling tea. They make a living off of rumors and all that ugliness. It's insane when you really think about it.
But that's why it's ever so more important now that we change the way that we talk to each other. But then also that's a mindset thing. That we have to really value one another. We really just care about each other. I ain't trying to talk about you. I ain't trying to talk about you. I'm really looking at how I can help you. The only time that we look down on one another is to lift each other up. And so we stand strong on some real principles and stop being influenced by this world and thinking that we got to be so negative and like we can't talk to each other on the street or like we can't just come up, run up and just show love to one another and it be genuine. And without some more funny time stuff, man, we be all right. We really good people. It's just like us being over here just really made us very evil. And so we just got to get that evilness out of us. That's
culturally conditioned.
That's what
we take on the European mentality.
We had a good example of that though this weekend, right? At Sister Muhammad's block party. We
sure
had
did.
a great example of that.
We sure did. We had a phenomenal time. That whole second ward, I'm very proud of. Just them coming together and even that whole neighborhood on Kirkwood. I'm definitely want to make sure I got the right name for the street.
Kirkwood.
Kirkwood.
In the house.
I'm telling. Oh yeah, catch his own. We on Curtington. They like what?
Dewan renamed that street like 17 times on the mic though. He's like, we happy to be over here. They're like, what? I said, ooh.
They very proud about that shit on Kirkwood. Let me get it right if I get stepped over there, man. I said, you know what? But I just seen like it's just a community that just love each other and just working together. They was helping, supporting Sister Muhammad. So I just thought that was real dope, man. That was a good look for the city. So Kirkwood, definitely, I look forward to coming back over there. Another block party, spending time, and
that's right.
And just continue engaging with the residents and talking about what we need to do to take this city a step further. Because ultimately, that's what we want to do, and I think that's how we doing it. So don't get it twisted. The block parties are fun. We have a good time.
But we also doing work.
There's a point behind the block party.
That's right. There's a
specific
purpose
goal.
in our party.
Yeah, it's a purpose.
Always remember, there's a purpose in the party because when you're engaging in that kind of atmosphere, we want it to spread to the next block, next block, the next block. Because when we talk about how do we reduce this violence in our community, it's door to door, it's person to person. You don't need no $300,000 helicopter to love each other from a police department.
Say that, sir.
When our children can't read and write, you're going to spend over $300,000 on a helicopter, and our babies cannot read and write. So again, the block parties and that concept is we're reaching out to show love. And again, back to love, what it looks like. You gotta see what it looks like. And it looks like stepping up, getting out your comfort zone, and even if you feel safe enough, give a person a hug. You can ask them like, have you had all your shots? If they hug them up, if they got all their shots, give them a hug up. You know what I mean? I got all my shots. I just got a booster the other day.
But you know what? Even
hug me up.
I got 4 boosters.
you can even go so far as to ask, like, can I hug you?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Real talk.
You don't want to offend anybody if that's not, because some people don't like that. It's a thing for them. Right. But you can even ask that, like, hey, can I hug you?
Right.
I'm running up on you, flashing my card.
Right. Got my card.
And I ain't talking.
I'm clean. I'm clean.
I'm clean. I can do this.
I can do this.
I got in the shower and everything.
Yeah. Deodorant, bam.
Boom.
Boom.
I smell good.
At the black body, it got a little hot out there. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Did get a little.
You know, sticky
She You know I need a little sticky.
Got a little. Got a little. I said, wait a minute. We cut the hugs off. What's up? Hey,
come
how
on
you
now.
doing?
Love, baby.
All right,
come on,
all right. Fist bump, fist bump.
Come
All
on,
right,
don't
guys.
disrespect me, nigga.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect me like
All
that.
right, get back on. Hey, don't get nothing on you.
Go in for the hug. Hey! But we definitely love our people. Right?
So my man be sitting back talking about, I thought you was loving me, sister.
I
What
am.
happened?
I
I
am.
got
I
love you
want
for
a
my
fool.
distance.
Listen, sometimes.
Look, what the fool and break?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes.
That's the body language tell it all, right?
That's the body language.
Yeah, right.
Listen,
Yeah.
and so I am that, and I'm that person, right? I can't hide it, so it'll be all over my face and everything. I am really that person, so I just then I just gotta go on and say, well,
This is the problem.
walk with me for a minute, cause I ain't gonna front you and run it up. Like, come on, walk with me,
right.
talk to me. Watch out. Then I gotta say something, right? Because I can't hide it on my face, but I don't want you thinking something else.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all love.
But see, that's all love.
Yeah,
because
then you gotta go tell them, you gotta go hit the hot spots.
Right, the hot spots.
Go hit the hot spots.
Right.
Hit the hot spots,
I
yeah.
ain't talking internet.
No.
No.
Not those. Your personal hot spots.
But like you say, the atmosphere, and the one thing that really confused me at the block party was, I hope y'all don't mind.
Go for it.
Feel uncomfortable. I know sometimes y'all think I'm crazy,
No, they don't. No.
but I'm okay with it. Why do people carry dogs?
You talking about this in their hand carrying
Yeah,
up?
yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but several of the women here was carrying
Well,
their
they
dogs.
think it's cute, I guess. I don't
Oh,
know.
you talking about the little dog?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think they, they may be putting in their purse. I think they look at it as a little toy. That's what I be getting from them. Because they be having it in their purse.
So anybody in the audience that's watching this, do you guys remember growing up where you carried dogs by any chance? Call us and hit us in and let us know. Or
Right.
go in the chat and let us know, because this is a new experience for me. I guess in the last 10 years or so, I've never known people to carry a dog. Carry a dog. Only in America.
Well, you see that. I mean, you
That's
see
only
it
in
quite
America.
often, but yeah, it is only in America. So I guess so.
I
But
get the
like
logic.
you
I get the logic behind it.
It's
Logic,
small,
what is logic?
they're
What-
cute.
I said, why do they carry dogs?
It's like an accessory, because they buy these cute bags for them and they put them in the bag and it's cute, it's an accessory, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm the accessory, so I don't have none of that.
Yeah.
I would think.
And plus, I'm over the whole animal thing. I am an animal lover. Please don't get that misconstrued. I am an animal lover. However, if it cannot wash dishes, do a load of laundry, or pay a bill, it cannot come to my house.
Or,
I don't want that responsibility. If my kids are older now, I don't want it.
and then, I hate to say this because you think about it, it's sad, because, Michael Vick got the nerve to talk about Colin Kaepernick. It's so sad, that I'm boycotting NFL football. I think it's totally unacceptable. Our men are participating in an environment that totally disrespects them. And Michael Vick is unacceptable. He's going to tell Colin Kaepernick to cut his hair. When they locked him up for dog fighting, and he allowed in his cousin. I mean, when you think about our society that we live in, animals have more rights than black people. And it's just pathetic. And Michael Vick, again, along with a lot of these house Negroes or Becky with the good hair football players, is totally unacceptable. Because our only fight and our only power is our dollars.
Right.
And if they shut down football Sunday, if they just didn't show up, what that would do in our community, man. So I had to put that in. And that, I wasn't leading with the dogs, carrying the dogs. I'm just really the photo about that. I'm a dog lover too. But like she just said, they gotta bite you. It's got to do some work. It's got to do some damage.
Gotta bite you.
Oh man, it can't be just hanging around for nothing. I'm not gonna feed you
Right.
and care for you,
Now, you
and you ain't gonna commit to, some kind of damage.
I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Where did we get that from when we wanted to start having animals, domesticate animals?
We got that from
Ooh, that
Europeans.
was it, yeah.
Oh, that strictly come from Europeans. We really didn't do that in our culture in Africa. Again, we kind of left the animals alone, and they did their thing, we did our thing. In Africa, we was basically vegetarians.
Mhm.
Right.
This whole meat, love affair with meat, is a European thing. That's why we say now we love.
No, you're right. You're
Right.
right.
But we love the blood of the pork. We love barbecue. You guys talking
Yeah.
about picnic, picking nigga. Y'all celebrate all that. That's what y'all do.
That's
And I
sad.
refuse to say.
I mean, no,
refuse to
that's
say that.
sad,
I say
though.
cookout or a
Yeah,
get together,
it's very
family
sad.
outing, but I don't say
it's
that.
sad.
Cause another question: how do we get our people brought up to that they can understand? Because it seems like it's like we forgetting what all these traditions that we celebrating. Like some of them, like for us Easter, we shouldn't be celebrating Easter. Thanksgiving, the Indians should be mad when we out here celebrating
Most
Thanksgiving.
definitely.
Yeah, they
You
should.
know what I'm saying? So I'm like, how do we get back to our traditions, like you saying with that picnic? We having picnics.
Well, one thing that we have to do is be honest about re-educating ourselves, and because almost every holiday is a bastard holiday. When you think about St. Patrick's Day, or like you say, the Tooth Fairy, they want to say a white lie or Santa Claus, and the list goes on and on and on. Or Independence Day. Frederick Douglass was clear about it. But how do we get our people? We have to speak truth to power, and then we have to not compromise. And those family members and those people that you love, you must be serious about your direction and share real information with them and hope that they change. Everybody is not. But one thing that I do for myself, I can just speak for me. Just like boycotting football. Y'all don't know. Y'all not living with me. Y'all don't know if I'm telling the truth or not. But in my spirit and in my soul, this is something that I'm doing. And I've been doing it now since Colin Kaepernick was not allowed back into the league. It may not mean anything to anybody else, but it's something internally in my mind that I'm doing. Again, before I was insane, I used to eat pork. But I haven't eaten pork in almost 40 years now. And again, haven't missed a beat. But that took a process.
It does.
And with everything in life, it's a process. But all of us learn through visual and through engaging one another. And so a lot of times how we encourage and motivate, some of our people, like the Clarence Thomases of our community, will never change. Those kind of people, we understand where they are.
Right.
And we don't even worry about them anymore.
Right.
Or the Lee elders. We don't worry about them people anymore. But our children that can't read, and many of our children that are small, and even at Southwestern, I was at Southwestern the other day, we're dealing with even 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders that can't read. So, to answer your question, we got to stand up and stand on principles of leadership, because they're going to see if we tell them the truth. They're going to be looking, okay, you say you don't do this, okay, you don't eat pork. Oh, Mr. Roberts, what you eat? You eating pork, huh? And again, that's in our mindset, we've been set up to always think that black people lie or that we are liars. But when you stand on, one thing about Malcolm, man, I hope y'all don't mind me saying this.
Go for it.
Elijah Muhammad was born in young girls, man. Totally unacceptable. They were 13 and 14 years old, man. I don't care what nation, unacceptable, man. And he's going to say, well, Elijah Muhammad is going to put himself in like he's God. And so you're going to say, I'm in a group that the man can do what he want to do, but as long as he's bringing the message to uplift. That's insane, man. Once Malcolm, once he went to Mecca and came back, he was like, man, these blue-eyed devil people, some of them are serious about Islam, and they my allies. They ain't crazy. They believe in one God and they're working for one God. And you can be purple, pink, or yellow, just like a Jewish person. You and any of us can be Jewish. Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
Any of us can say, I'm a Jew, if you practicing Jew. But most of us practicing any kind of bastard religion, again, is all man-made, is all a hustle, is all a trick. Because Christianity that tricked us, we're in the bag that we're in now because of Christianity. And Islam to a great degree when you think about over in this country. How you going to have one person to say one thing and then you're going to allow this brother's life to be taken because he told the truth.
Right.
So back to answer your question, we're going to have to just stand on truth, live in truth, and act in truth because we're going to die. So we can choose how we live every day. Didn't mean to get so heavy.
No,
I
but
do
when
want
you,
to go into that though, and you know what I'm saying, just to make sure, we gotta lead by example, right? I mean, that's what the brother is saying, is that we have to be leading by example, and we look to the folks that's in leadership positions, and that's where, we expect to kind of get some type of structure or some type of way of life and those type of things. So
right.
that's even equating to today, man. I love Brother Malcolm. Malcolm was a true soldier.
True.
A true soldier for the cause. And, I relate to him, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I respect him. A little piece of love, and, all day long. You know that. And so we need more of the Malcolms of the days. We need folks that's standing on true principles, folks that's really out there stepping up, folks that's out there putting in the work that really care about, the work that they're doing. And it's all in purpose. And I think, when we was talking about getting rid of these pagan holidays or following this mode, this calendar that we've been on over here, it's just really getting back to our original self. And that's what education. You got to know who you were. You got to know who you were before you even was over here.
Right.
You got to know those things. It's like a family tradition. If we don't know these things, then we can't carry them on.
right.
And so those what we expect families to be doing. That's expecting have these conversations. Like, I love Brother Robert. Brother Robert is a walking historian. And so he's always giving us these notions of things to read because it's important to our development, but more or less where we're going.
That's right.
You know what I love about Brother Roberts is that he's always bold. He's bold about the things that he stands on in his principles, and it's always bold because I'm very bold about the things that I believe in as well. And so, all the time, people will always be, they will say that, you too bold and you too boisterous about it, you too loud about it. No, I'm not loud enough.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Right.
And and they always say, well, that's not, being like that is not, that's not ladylike. Well, I'm black and I'm proud of it.
That's
and,
right.
I'm not on the feminist movement by any means necessary.
Right.
I done told that a million times. I want somebody to take my trash out, but like that. So
Come
I'm
on.
not on that feminist movement.
Come on.
I'm not on that. I'm telling you that right now.
With that.
There are some things that I support, as far as women goes, but that feminist movement, I ain't on that.
That's right.
I'm not. I think that destroyed us.
Pamper me.
That destroy. Please,
Huh?
please, I'm telling you.
But I think,
I ain't on that.
I don't want to protest you at home.
right.
No, I'm not. No.
But
Love on me. Hey, listen, that's where I need my hugs at. Love on me.
But I do respect what you bring, though.
Come on, man.
I do like what you bring to no nonsense.
Yeah.
Because even when we having a bad day, even like I was then they're struggling getting this together, and the brother still just calm down. I just asked you this and got it together.
Yeah.
He played. It's this level all the way around.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keep us all
But
kind
I
of.
think that's the thing. He is the balance.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly.
So even if Dewan is the yin and I'm the yang, he is our balance. He keeps us on the scale. He's our Libra scale, and I really appreciate that about him, and I really love that about him. And I also love that he is approachable because I always say make yourself available, and I'm always trying to make myself available. But he does that for me as well, and for all of us. But he is, and not only is he available, he's approachable. But I always want to say that, so I'm giving you your flowers.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm accepting them flowers.
Yeah, that's what I do. He keep us
Going.
If I had a bouquet, Brother I throw it to you right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, caught it.
Yeah, you got it.
On my neck.
Yeah.
Shake it with it.
right.
Yeah.
So, but that's definitely what we need to be spreading. We need to spread more, more love and appreciation for our people, and and what they bring, to the table. I think more or less. I know, just in general, man, this times is different. So we need each other more than we ever really realize and know it. But
Now,
we
when
have
you
to
say
show
that,
in
when you say
action.
these times are different, when you guys think about quantum theory or think about you know, the influx of time, do you think this time is so different, Mr. Robertson, from 1865, or if you're saying 1513 or 1619? Can you really say the time is really different, or is it our thinking of time? Because time is relative to who knows what time really is. Because man created time. But before man created time, what was time? How did it relate? Because you think about it, our ancestors were sitting around for thousands of years, and they looking at the cosmos, and they came up with astrology. She just mentioned some of the signs. So they sitting around for thousands of years, not fighting no wars, not killing nobody, and they come up with music. They come up with art, science, astrology.
Yeah.
I mean, right now they still don't figure out how the pyramids were made, but you think about the obelisk.
Right.
You know, you got an obelisk in Washington, D.C.
Right.
That whole thing was stolen.
Along with Texas.
Texas.
Come on now, y'all.
If you go to the Egypt on the Potomac in Washington, D.C.,
Come on.
it's a replica of what was in ancient Egypt.
Come on,
ancient
guys.
Kemet, right? So they installed all that stuff on
Stole.
Washington monuments.
Come on.
The Texans that stand up high all around Washington, D.C., even around the country. You know,
And in
those-
Europe.
Those is all our, that's all our symbolism. That's all our doings, our
Yes.
creations, right?
Yes.
And so I think when we're talking about them and point them out, I point them out to my children just so
Yeah.
that they know.
Right.
We have to
Yeah.
make folks,
Right.
make sure our folks know that.
That's
Right. Because that's why I was going with you when you mentioned about time.
Okay.
Okay, you say these are perilous times. And so when we really think about time, do we ever think about the time of our ancestors or even time in 1950? How do we really contemplate time? With you think about there's segregation and drinking in a white fountain and a black fountain. Do you think today's time is any different from that time? I'm posing a question to the group.
No, I think you know. So I guess when I say time, I guess I'm saying in a different era, right? We in a different. This is a different area with different players. The game is the same.
Okay.
The game that they run from what they've been doing in the 50s to the 1773s, right?
Same people controlling it though.
It's the same people controlling the game,
That's the same.
right?
Right.
It's just new players.
Ooh.
What
That's
we
right.
have to do is we got to change the game. I know that's a term that's been thrown out there a long time, but we really got to change the game.
We do.
I got one to pose to you. I got to pose to you. What about you think it's an awakening? Because like as you said before, like don't get me wrong, I do follow, read what a lot of Elijah them did. But I'm looking at the time like the awakening. During that time, we had different ones. We had Noble Drew Ali. I mean, well, first we had Marcus Garvey. It seemed like it was an awakening. Then somewhere we got lulled to sleep.
That's
Because we
good.
got to continue a little bit. Like
It got lulled, and I'm thinking this is what the lull to sleep is what you got now.
That's
You're
good.
right. You're right. I think
That's
that
good.
it did. We got rockabye to sleep, right? And so with you saying that, I
That's
think that
good.
that is a problem, and so then we stagnant in that, right? But I think that there is some awakening. It's some sparks going off in different spots. And it is some awakening. So that's why you see some of these people that are waking up, and you can see this even on social media. They popping up with these podcasts, or they popping up with these posts that they every day, because there's an awakening all over. It's not in spots all over. We just haven't all come together and had this awakening, but it's happening.
Right.
But it's happening.
It's happening.
That's good.
It's happening.
It's just that we got to get enough people to wake up.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's where we are now.
And you know what, when you said that, man, you really brought something to, you know, when we think about Dessalines and Toussaint Overture, you think about that time.
Right.
And because before we talk about
1804.
Marcus Garvey,
Right.
you think about that independence there. And then we always point them men out, but it was some women behind them men, guys. That were
Right.
pit bulls for real. You hear what I'm saying? So a lot of times when we saying, and I love what you just brought up about being lulled or pacified. Because one time we was clear. We were more together when we was picking cotton than we are today. We were more together when we was picking cotton because we had a clear enemy.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
we're being tricked with basketball,
Man.
football. You can live in a gated community and and your neighbors don't even speak to you because they can't stand you being in there, and you got your white wife, right?
Right.
Because that's what we do as black people. We gonna get our white wife, right?
Are you right?
Or like Serena Williams, bro. Because I was telling Serena, in my mind, I was like, listen, you gonna be mine, right? All that chocolate, you gonna be mine, right? I said, if she ever got next to me,
Woo!
she's gonna be mine, right?
Manifest.
She gonna marry this Billy, right?
Listen, it's coming. It's coming. You put that out there to the universe.
And I'm still pissed about it. You know, I'm supposed to got over it, right?
She still might come around.
Because I told my last wife one time, you know, I'm divorced. Like my wife was asking me one time, she said, what, you know, if we had a threesome, you know, I was like,
Come on now. Come on.
Serena, you know,
Let's talk poly relationships. Let's talk about it. Ooh, come on, poly relationships. Let's talk about it.
but
Come on.
in all fairness,
Listen,
in all
come
fairness,
on, poly relationships. Let's talk about it.
in all fairness, she said Common for her, right? So I had to respect it. She said, you know, Common could come in, you know, holler a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I said, well, I wouldn't have no problem watching.
Boom! Brother Rappers, where you been all my life?
Just keep it moving.
That's all I'm saying.
Broke my heart.
Let's talk about it. I want to talk about it.
And one thing about that whole thing, psychologically, because if you look at Richard Williams, her dad,
Yep. Black.
and how do you come from Richard Williams
Right.
and marry a devil?
Woo.
I mean, that's awesome, man.
You know what?
Okay.
No, I want to. You know what happens? This is like all our sports figures. Think about all the times that you drove your grandson and nephews and all the boys we mentored to basketball games.
Yes.
We were their support system.
Right.
Right? So we take them to the game. We feed them when they hungry. We come see them at these schools when they getting told on or whatever the case may be. But we protect them.
Right.
So we get them to a point where they get into college now, right?
Yeah.
Now they go to a different level, right? But we've been there this whole time. And we may be there during their college years. But then once they go to the pros, you know what happens? They get a whole new support system.
Yeah.
It's not no longer folks that look like us. It's not Mr. Roberts who used to take them to Junco back in the day. It's not your mama right there doing your manager like Usher mom was.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You got all these different Caucasians and different people that they throw at you. So now you ain't even connected to the community that you once grew up in. Because now they got you doing all these different things. And yeah, you ball playing. You got things to do, so we respect that. But when you expect to make a donation back to your community, but that money get diverted to somewhere else, but you thinking that you donating towards your community, but they done did something else with it. Those are the type of situations that take place because we dealing with those situations with our young players now.
Yeah.
Like we need to have black agents that come from their neighborhood, just like what LeBron did. LeBron sent his boys to college.
Come on.
Yeah, learn this game because I need y'all around with me. I don't want a bunch of people that I never struggled with. I came up with. You don't even know nothing about me. You know I got money, but you don't really care for me. We need to have those real support systems in place that's gonna really be there from the time that they playing small ball to where they in their full professional career.
So you know what? When my son was playing football and you know my son actually got a scholarship and he went away to play football, but when he was getting into it and we were having like scouts after scouts calling and doing all these things or whatever, I went back to school for sports management because I refused to let them people steer my son all crazy if something bigger was to happen for him, right? And so I wanted to be prepared in the case that something came to the table. Now, it was quite a few things that ended up coming to the table for him, but you know, it was a way that I was able to deflect that from him, and he didn't have to worry about that because I really had his best interest at heart. And I think that's the problem, is when they get to that other level, when they make it to the next level, whether it be college or the pros, when they get to that next level, then the faces change, and they're giving that they've been trained to give off that false love and that false all of these things that make us feel like they have our best interest at heart, right? But then they don't. But my point to that being is that history shows that they don't, and we are not conditioning our children to even look out for that. Right?
I would say that's what I would say. It's got to be a 50-50. Like that sports player, that rapper, or whatever folks that we got coming up, right? That's on the pathway. We need them to understand that you always got to stay connected to this. Because this is what made you.
Right.
You didn't go out there to Bloomfield Hills and become who you are. You
Come
made
on.
it here in the grassroots level,
Yeah.
in the streets of Flint, right?
Right.
Whatever the case,
Yeah.
in urban community. We got to make sure that you understand that mindset and that you believe that, and we teaching that from the jump, and that support system believe that, and we're gonna be connected for life. Those are the type of things. Just like you came in, you learned. You said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna learn some things about sports management. I'm gonna have these folks take my baby all these different ways."
Right.
Well, I got
Because they
something.
come in with different things, and they got more stuff to offer. Right.
Right.
They offer them all the. They gonna,
But have
what
y'all-
can we do
All
when
the
we
bells
say-
and whistles.
When I say, "Hey, listen, I want to ride with you, but give me a couple months, man. I'm gonna go ahead."
But
and
have
get you
y'all?
there, right?
But have y'all missed
Then
this
also-
though?
hold
This.
on,
Oh, go ahead.
When we got like folks that's doing agents and they say, "Listen, I'm gonna put you up in a condo, right? I'm gonna give you 50 grand, right?"
Mm-hmm.
They gonna go for that.
Yeah.
And when you come from a stressful situation, when your mama, you taking care of your mama bills, and you got
Come
3
on.
little brothers after that, you like, "Oh
Come
man,
on.
listen, I got to get it right now," and I get it. But it's a thing where we have to be honest with ourselves and say, like, we ain't gonna settle for no money,
Right.
and we not gonna take no shortcut,
Come on.
and we all gonna win together.
Together.
But that 50,000, what they not saying is they gonna take it off the back end, cause when your money come in, I'm gonna get that
But-
back.
Right.
With
But
interest.
you're missing the whole thing again. That y'all keep missing the whole thing. You keep thinking. I mean, people in general. We keep thinking we're gonna come in and change their system. First of all, when they come get your kids, if the good ones, we're not talking about the ones who go to Eastern Michigan. When you go into the Michigan, Nebraska's, the Power Fives, give me the breakdown of the makeup of the blacks to the white dynamic.
Oh, it's like that. My son was in Minnesota,
That's
so I totally get it.
so when you
That was a
going
whole
when you
nother
going
beast.
through that, you take it. It's a culture difference that people not paying
Or
attention
even
to.
the program,
It's a
because,
culture
you know, that's
difference.
a-
You taking them
that's a whole
out,
nother level.
putting them in white
Yeah,
areas. So
yeah,
what you
yeah.
think gonna happen
Yeah.
when you sitting around
They're
that?
gonna
We
be
don't got nothing
influenced by
else to
that
offer
white
them.
area.
Absolutely.
Really?
And then another
We
thing,
want them to
and
be
that's what I
successful.
wanted to ask my sister, because it's really important, because apparently, I don't know her personally as far as on that level, because your son listened to you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, we get into white spaces,
Right.
Yeah.
and they'll tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you can't bring your mama,
Mhm.
you can't bring your dad.
And they'll listen.
They told LeBron that.
And they'll
They
listen.
told LeBron at one time.
I know.
Y'all remember that?
They told me he couldn't bring his mother.
He
I
couldn't
see.
bring his mother. Yes, he did.
I got some wicked
He
in
brought
that.
his mother.
Come on,
I
man.
got
See,
some.
but that's the thing, though, right?
Come on,
So
mother.
just
Come
like
on,
how
what?
No, but see,
that had
yeah,
gotten
yeah.
said to
But
my
you
son
talking
before.
about one.
And my
You
son
talking about
said,
one.
I don't do anything without my mother.
See?
Come on,
See?
man. That's
See?
right.
He
But-
don't play.
Yeah.
He has sat on the bench and not played because he thought I was late and I wasn't in the stands. My son don't play without me, so he didn't do any of those things without me, right?
Mhm.
And so, but that's something I taught him from a little kid,
Right.
that is me. That when the whole world gonna fuck you, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is gonna be against you, but I'm not. But I've been saying that since they were little, right? So those are things but that's something that we are supposed to do for our children.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's where we are dropping the ball, where I keep on saying we being punk ass parents and we not
Right,
doing that for
really,
our kids.
man.
Right?
We-
But
we
that's
wanna-
something that I do.
We want to, and I'm glad she said that. We want
Right.
to send them off to these old immaculate schools. We want to take them out there to the outer county. You want to do all these different things. I understand getting a better education. I understand, you want the best for your children.
Country day.
Sometimes, yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
Take them to prep school and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
But sometimes, what is the loss in that?
Come on.
You gotta understand, like, what does that? If I give my son maybe a ball player at Country Day,
Yeah.
what am I giving up? Am I giving up my son for him to be involved in another culture that I'm not privy to, but I'm giving them to him, expecting him to have a successful career, not knowing that I'm giving away my son.
And it's so important when you say it like that, because that's what happens.
Mhm.
We give, and I love what Nick said. Nick said, and she echoed it, we send our children unprepared into these hostile environments.
Mhm.
And they sick women on them.
Mhm.
They sick them
Yeah.
on them.
They
Now,
do.
let's be honest
They
about
do.
it, man. Especially when they know, and they have people, they have private investigators to find out what your fetish is.
They do.
Mhm.
So
If you're free,
they
or if you like
Drugs.
pizza,
Oh,
Yeah.
drug.
if you like
Whatever.
drugs, come on.
They gonna
Yeah.
find your
You like a
vice.
little hash bash.
Or you like your car,
Yeah.
load a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Or they gonna pop that out. A booster gonna bring that to you. Cause look what
Yeah.
happened to the Fab Five. Y'all
Yeah.
look what happened to the Fab
That's a
Five.
prime
man.
example.
That's a prime example. Along with Michael Vick. Michael Vick didn't do anything. He should not have went to prison. That's insane, y'all.
That was insane.
What happened to all them people that was around him? Because even if it was me,
Yeah.
I would have said, I did it.
Oh, okay,
Right.
that's why I
That-
always
this
wanted that.
me.
You wouldn't sit down for your
Listen,
cousin
I
and
ain't
put you
got-
on all
I ain't
the
got
time.
Mike ain't
I'm
got
gonna
nothing
take
to
the
do
two.
with it.
I'm gonna
I'ma
take the
take
two.
it.
Mike, listen, I like you.
Huh?
I'm gonna take the two though.
Yeah.
I
No,
got- I'ma take the
no,
two.
but did y'all really look at the case, how it went down? Remember, it was dog fight. Now you got to watch who you playing with. They went and changed the law because it wasn't illegal dog fighting.
Right.
But his cousin was Quanez.
Right.
They was finna bring up drug charges.
Right.
They put a squeeze down. Then after they changed the law to convict him, the next week they unchanged the law. You got to look how the game that they play. We go into their court system. You're not getting a fair break. I don't know why we scared of separation. That's what I don't hear nobody talking. We keep talking this. We're going to get along. How much time do you need? Like you said, when a person's showing you who they is, why you going to keep acting like they going to
The
change?
thing is, we don't
real.
we not scared. We've been complacent. I don't think we scared of separation. We just unsure what that looks like. So we was at our strongest when we were.
I
What
don't
you
know.
mean
I
it was
think
shared what it
I'm
looked
scared.
like? Go back to 1930. Go back. I mean, we can start. Let's start at 1900. No, you know what separation was. We just then. That's why I keep saying.
Come on now.
No, that's I'm finna bring you up to 2021.
Think about when they get off slavery. Just think about after slavery.
But it was
They
separation.
didn't know what to do. They went back to the plantation and worked.
No, because yeah, you had something like that. You did get something because they was tricked. You was never really free. That's the key thing we keep saying when you saying free. Just like when they let you off from out of St. John's, it was never to the better us. Matter of fact, we cut that. We'll just go back to what me and Jalil and Shatar was talking about the other day with this water settlement money. Do you think they was really finna get a city with 80,000 people? They could have gave them, just say 100,000. Do you know you'll bring a community up out of poverty? Mm-hmm. So you honestly think, I'm just saying, just look at that standpoint. It's no way in history that they going to uplift a minority.
But see, I've been saying that from the beginning. And I said that, and that was all the more reason I felt like everybody should be fighting. Whether we got that money and they was going to do whatever they wanted to it or not, but don't be settling for them fucking crumbs. That's how I feel about it. Whether they were going to give it to you or not. The point is just everybody stand up and fight for it. Regardless of how they felt or where that money was going to go or how they was going to divvy it out. If we don't take, I'm not taking $50. Fuck you. I'm not taking that.
Right. I'm with you on that.
I deserve more than that. Give me my 500,000. I don't want that $50.
And then, too,
I'm not taking that.
You gotta hold that. And you gotta hold those folks who was in the rooms who negotiated that.
Correct.
Come on now.
If they were working on behalf of us,
That's right.
you gotta understand, like they was went in there and they wanted to get this stuff done. The attorneys want to get this deal
Come
over
on.
because they gonna get a good payday.
Right.
But it wasn't necessarily about how can we make the city of Flint residents whole?
Hold.
We should have came in with a dollar amount. This is what I expect
Yes,
from
sir.
my individual life.
Yes, sir.
My family.
Right.
These
Yes,
numbers
sir.
is what we looking at, right?
Yes,
And it's
sir.
your job to go in there and to negotiate and make it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, they never valued the residents of Flint.
Absolutely
And they
not.
still haven't valued
Absolutely
the residents of
not.
Flint. And the state of Michigan is so full of crap. Like Gretchen and all them up there, man, y'all is terrible.
Terrible.
Dana Nessel, y'all terrible. You sitting up here knowing that we was under receivership during this time, y'all running around with Neely, thinking that's gonna be showing some unison with like the state of Michigan and Flint, like that's supposed to be supporting. That stuff is bull crap. And we ain't buying that mess. And it's very frustrating to see y'all do this type of stuff and thinking folks are just dumb or don't understand what's going on. The state of Michigan is totally responsible for the Flint Rock crisis because
Totally.
we was in receivership when
Totally
it took place.
responsible.
So you supposed to take the lead and say, as a state, hey, listen, let me write this city
Yes.
of predominantly black residents
Yes.
and show them, hey, listen, we care. Not even talking about we care, and this is the honorable thing to do because we the state.
Absolutely.
That's where we get it off, and we
Yeah.
not putting up pressure on them.
That's right.
Talking about the EPA, she changed the name from the DEQ
Yeah.
to Eagle.
Yeah.
And now they doing the same stuff when they bring this Ajax plant over here.
Right.
It's environmental races all over the crowd. You have to really see these things. These folks is evil. These folks is crazy. And they think that you don't know. And they think you ain't going to say nothing stepping up. That's why we have these conversations. That's why we be protesting. That's why it's activists out here. We wouldn't have to be activists if this stuff was done right.
That's right.
We wouldn't have to be sitting up here complaining if y'all was doing your job.
That's right.
Y'all sorry.
Absolutely.
That's what it comes down to. Everybody who was in on that, made that formula, put it together for the water crisis settlement.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
terrible.
Terrible.
I would
Absolutely.
never have you negotiate nothing for me. On that.
Unacceptable. For real, because it is. It is.
They sounded like we
At the same time, like they was thinking the same thing.
Because it is though. But you know what? So not only that, I want to segue since we talking about all this foolishness and all of that. Let's talk about this school district and this money that's going out. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen that paperwork that came out? $1 million basically out to this lawyer. Who the hell was suing him? Like what kind of? I just want to know what type of retainer do you have to have on for stuff like that? This city is already in destitute, right?
Yes.
Already.
Already.
And we have someone come in and do that, and we allow it.
Allow it.
I am so appalled
Put it on
at
the 7
that.
o'clock.
I just don't know what to do. It is so crazy
I'm gonna give y'all a
that
5-minute break.
then we don't, and you know, it's been in history, right? You just follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
You follow the money. And when Danielle Green got into her place as treasurer, she followed the money. She followed the money, and y'all put y'all foot on her neck to make her stop and to make her shut up so she wouldn't follow this money, want to put her out. And then the other lady that came in, what was her name? Laura, what's her name? Laura?
McIntyre.
Yeah. She come in and she taking over and doing the same thing, and then y'all want to put y'all foot on her neck too. And then we, as the people of Flint and the people in the school district and our children go there, we just continue to allow it. And we keeping those people in place that's going to do that. And then it's not until those things get exposed that then they want to step down or they want to move back or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we still don't do nothing.
We
still not going to the board meetings. We still not saying, where is this money? What is wrong with our schools? What is going on? I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with that because I still have a kid in school. She is 16 years old. And she was going to Westwood Heights, and when that fuck-ass man said all that stuff about that little girl and everything like that, and they see it. I'm not saying allegedly. Take me off. I'm not saying allegedly. He said that shit. And y'all know he said that. Yeah.
That all black boy, right? That's all black boy, right?
I'm getting to that, Mick. I'm about to get right to it. Westwood Heights is the whole black boy.
You talking about Peter Toll?
Yes. So he said that he couldn't wait till that girl got out of school so he could hire her so he can watch her ass going through the building. That's unacceptable. And y'all gonna take that?
They reinstated him.
Thank you. They went and they had it, and it was almost empty. Art. Thank you, Art, for going live because I wasn't able to get there. I was at work. I wasn't able to get there. Art went live, and I was watching it on live, and it was empty in there. And Arthur Woodson got up, and he said how appalled he was at that and how they did that. It's an all-black board. Do you know how that hurt my feelings and hurt my heart? But not even more than that. It's because my daughter goes there. And because if that had to been my daughter, I can't even tell you where my mind would have gone because I flip out. I have a short fuse. That's one thing I know about myself. I have a short fuse. I can't tell you where I would have went with that. But because I know my behavior and how I react to things, I took my daughter out. She no longer goes there because I'm not tolerating that. And if I can't be there to say that to them, then my presence is not going to be there. Then you're not going to have those issues with me.
We need to challenge that.
And we do have to challenge that. And I still want to challenge it. All black board and all black board.
You need all their names.
I know their names. I know them. I know my kids been in that school for forever, and that's why I'm saying it hurt my heart. But even more than that, let me tell you who really hurt my heart is Lester Fikes. Mr. Fikes, you hurt me. You cut me deep, Shrek. You cut me deep. Because you my man $100,000, so I thought you are loud and proud and you are boisterous about everything. Yes, he is. Okay. And his granddaughter goes there. Your granddaughter goes there. You gonna allow that? I'm not understanding that. Lester Fikes, I'm so disappointed in you, sir. You are on the board. You are on the board and you voted to reinstate him. You could have been the one that said no. But even if you would have been the one that said no and they still reinstated him, I wouldn't have the distaste in my mouth for you that I have right now. Now you can't say shit to me because you don't have no explanation for that. You don't have no explanation because you have a granddaughter that goes there. Granddaughter. Her and my daughter are like this. My kid goes to your house. Your kid has come to my house. And that's how you do? I'm hurt. That hurt me deep to know that.
We need to do a whole segment on
that. Right. Right.
I know I did see that, and it was unfortunate that they reinstated it. I could have swore that all the evidence that was mounted against it, they
now.
were not reinstated.
Me too,
But
right?
seeing the fact that our own people did this to us,
Come on.
our own people will be our own worst enemies.
Absolutely.
Lester and anybody else, everybody on that board, we're gonna definitely get all your names. We're gonna call y'all out.
Yes.
We're gonna find a way to strap some dynamite to you.
Got to,
Got
because
to.
when you say that,
That's crazy.
had the situation been reversed, think about it. Let that situation be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
A black person wouldn't have been reinstated. Now don't get it twisted.
They
Go
would
back
have
to-
figured out some type
No,
of charges
that's
to
even
charge him
what.
with.
No, it's better than that. Just go back to Emmett Till. That's
Come
tell
on.
y'all you need to know.
Absolutely.
End it with that.
Come on.
And that was a
Absolutely.
teenager saying it to a
Come on.
allegedly
Alleged.
saying it to a grown woman. So if it was a grown black man saying that to a teenage or a young
Absolutely.
white lady, a white girl, his ass would be
That's
up under
crazy.
But
there.
then, let me go even further with that. So not only did he say that about that little girl, but then there are emails about him talking about the gays, about black people, about all types of people. Not all of this stuff that y'all have, and y'all still telling me that that's not enough. Then let me put a little more gas on the fire. Y'all put Mr. Key, which is a black man, in his position until you did all of this investigation. So you took the black man out to put this white man back in there to continue this foolish shit that y'all got going on. Give me a break.
And
That's-
Mr. Key went for that.
But listen, we held programs at that school.
Right,
We held programs at Albany.
right.
And so I know we had an issue with Peter Toll.
Yeah.
Toll know what time it is. Toll, you was a sucker. You know what I'm saying?
You're a coward.
And like
You're a
when
coward.
I see you though, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna hear every bit of that, right?
Coward.
And everything that come with it. Like that's terrible for you to sit up here and run around thinking you're gonna play this game, you and your wife. You
Yep.
sit up here and play with these students, man. You know what? So
Absolutely.
we gonna pull up over there and we're gonna pull up to the admin building. We're gonna
Yep.
really see what time it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just so disheartened with that board. Like
Yes.
I'm just flabbergasted.
It's an
I'm
all
blown
black
back.
board. Let me just
I'm just
reiterate that.
I'm so like she said, I'm hurt. Like
Alright.
y'all cut us deep.
Yes.
Y'all not even protecting these students from this person who is really maliciously just talking.
A predator.
crazy
A
and
predator.
Predator.
A predator on
Come on now.
students and
A
youth.
predator.
How could y'all allow this type of
A
stuff?
predator.
But y'all ain't got no character and no backbone. Y'all a bunch of clowns just want to be in position, just want to say you in position.
Mm-hmm.
Put y'all asses on.
The news ain't pick it up.
A predator.
Of course.
Channel 12 ain't pick it up.
Of course the news didn't pick it up.
You know they not.
The news ain't picking.
So y'all go on to Arthur Woodson's page and look on there. He has that. He went there and he has it live, and he was there and he would talk about how he spoke, and he went on there. Then go back and look at my segment on Monday because I had him on the show with me, and he talked about him going there and how him and Mr. Fikes had a whole heated discussion about it because he asked Mr. Fikes like, "What's up?" You know, like I'm still appalled at that. Out of all of the people on the board, even if they all decided to be whitewashed and do that, he was the one that I would have thought that would not have gone.
Hold up. Is it a black woman? Is it black women on that board?
Yes, there's black women on the board. Yes,
But
Lester
you said-
married to a black woman.
yes, he is.
But look what you said earlier. You said, why are our people continue to want to be in this mess and not separate? This is a perfect example. Who pays your bill? You're going to do what they tell you to do. Who paid their bill on that board? And them people working out there in Hamilton, because it is definitely white supremacy. They don't hide it, just like GSID, you know, just like they don't hide it. They working with white supremacy. And they clear about whatever they want to do, whatever they say, go.
Yeah.
And it's our fault. All this is our
Absolutely.
fault to let this happen. And then when you think about what she just said, and I don't know if you guys watched this. So they're on Capitol Hill in the, I forget what building they were in the other day, and they was talking to Christopher Wray about the FBI investigating NASA at Michigan State University.
Yeah.
And the FBI did not protect none of those babies. And Simone Biles, the graphic, how, and this is what I don't understand, you a woman. I don't know how a young girl could go into a room with a guy and let him fondle them and saying that he's doing any kind of looking for bumps or lumps or what have you, and not go tell your parents So help me with that, sister.
I can't explain it because I've always been a person that I've even taught my children this because, I've had some trauma in my own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was younger, it happened to me from a family member. However, I wasn't the quiet one, and I wasn't the one that wasn't fighting back either.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole fight about it.
Mhm.
I was a little girl, but I think I don't know. I think it's in you, not on you. I think that's just something that's already in you because nobody taught me that. Nobody said that to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I never had that conversation from my parents coming up,
Mm-hmm.
or my father passed when I was really young, but I never had that from any of the people that were around me when I was coming up. Never really had that talk. You kind of hear it in school a little bit, but I never really had that talk.
Yeah.
However, knowing that happened, I always had that talk with my daughters because I have two daughters. But I think that's just. I think it's more or less for me. I feel like it's just more of how the women around me were, because my grandmother was a really strong, proud lady, and I was raised by my grandmother, but she was a really strong, proud lady, and she was really quiet. She wasn't never loud. She was really quiet, but she was very stern, and she was very firm about what she said. And when she talked to people, she was very loving to me, but when she talked to other people, when she said it, she meant what she said. And I know that my grandmother would do anything, but I've always been one of those people that if I was backed into a corner, I was going to fight my way out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's just something in you that comes out. So I can't really explain that, but I do know that and everybody else knows that it's wrong because it feels wrong. It feels wrong, and when you get that feeling and it feels that wrong, then you have to say something, whether it be fight, it be scream, or you tell somebody after the fact because you didn't feel comfortable with it. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like I have the fight of my ancestors in me because I just don't let any of that stuff go over on me. But I think that those are some things that you have to feel it and you have to know it, and it's no shame in it. But I think that that's another thing. Is that those people say stuff too to make you feel shame and you don't want to say anything, right? Yeah. But I don't understand why we have that whole mentality. But I think that just comes from the people that are around you. Because if the person that around you and you grew up around a timid person, it's gonna make you timid too.
Well, let me read this quote.
We gotta be more like.
Well, can I really get on my point? Because what I was saying was, and hold just a minute, Nick, because. So I'm trying to rationalize or understand this. I was listening to the hearing, and Christopher Wray, that was head of the FBI, he said several people were fired, and these people did not report on Dr. Nassar. And like you just saying about this board reinstating this guy, so you got stakeholders that allowing just like priests to go around boning little boys. Right. So we got these people in place that will allow this type of behavior to take place. One point, but back to what you were saying, if you are an athlete, and that's what I can't figure out, if I'm a gymnast, and all them girls, there's over 300 girls, what about the mothers? How do a girl go into a doctor's office and come out and be fondled and getting apparently being checked, and then don't tell their mom, he did this to me, and this was uncomfortable. These are gentlemen.
But you know what though? A lot of times in those particular settings and stuff, and just because I've seen things on a different level from my kids playing sports, and I've seen them on different levels. These parents are really giving their kids over to these people.
That's what I wanted to read to y'all.
They're giving these people. So for instance, let's say this. So when my son was playing. And he was playing in this one travel league, right? And so these parents would never come. I travel with my kid. They didn't travel with their kid. They just gave them to them. And so sometimes they would be on the road. When the older you get, sometimes they're on the road for a long time, and they just give them over. But when they're bringing them up in this, they have a coach that they have from this big to this big, and this coach is gonna get them to the Olympics. They basically give that kid to them. They staying with them. They spending the night. This coach is taking them to their doctor's appointments. The parents are not there. They're not active. That's the biggest thing on that level. They're not there. They're giving these kids to them.
Well, answer this question right here that Chris Cattle put her in. He said, them kids was under pressure and they didn't want to disappoint their parents because of all the money and time invested in them.
But I think
That could be it too.
It's not about, but
I just feel like it's that they give them up. They give them away.
We gotta be more vocal, and I do see that point because I know that we normally drop our kids off, and that's what parents do be doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We can't be giving our children. We gotta always be understanding, being always knowing what our children are into. I know, even if they're young on the travel team, whatever, right? You know
But
what I'm saying?
300 girls though.
I know.
That's not 100 girls. That's 300
Well,
girls.
that's a lot of people.
Man,
I seen that. I drop them off at football and stuff
girls not
sometimes.
saying
I'm thinking about it
nothing.
too.
But
Just
I mean,
like
I
he
can
just-
see how
just
that
like
happen
Chris.
though. I can see how that can happen if you just dropping your kid off at sport. You thinking he getting a physical?
But they're not
But
just
they
dropping
ain't
them off.
just-
They're living with these
They not,
people.
yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah,
but what
they're
I'm
living
saying
with
is,
them.
even when you dropping your kids off for a physical, or you let them go on a travel team, they gone. They be doing that stuff, and they don't ever report that information back.
They don't.
So for one, we got to be more hands-on, and this is parents with sports, kids. You got to be more hands-on, always, engaged in them, making sure that we talking to them. Because you're right, there's too many girls that went by and ain't told their mother something. I would think that relationship be so strong. She probably ain't gonna tell the father, but she gonna tell mama because they got a more, maybe a more connection as far as like from the women's side,
Right.
and especially if somebody playing around like that.
But even he said what the audience said about the girls feeling pressured, all the money being spent, so they don't want to upset the apple cart by saying, I'm feeling uncomfortable. That's a lot of pressure on a young person.
I can see that. I can
So
see
for
that.
Simone Biles though, was it even really that though? Because she's adopted.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
She's adopted. So was it? But I mean,
No,
was it really that? No, I'm just saying. I'm just giving an example. I'm just saying. I don't know what the issue was for her, but was it?
She
that,
was fondled by Nessa.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying she was adopted. I'm like, did she have the
Capacity?
not the capacity, but the relationship with that lady to even from her mother, her new mother to even say that? You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
I seen a documentary on the people that adopted her, and that's her mother.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just asking. I was just throwing that out there. I'm not saying.
Oh, she said adopted by a white family?
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It goes back, but that goes back to this. We'd go, if I want our kid, like you said, to go play in Country Day, but we stay here, we'd send them to that family. I seen a bunch of people, but you doing that, and like you said, you giving your kids away. And once again, back to a culture, kids gonna swing back to culture at the end of the day. That's why I believe, like when you saying you send your kid, some kids you probably can send down to Alabama and go to college. Some kids you're gonna have to keep here to go to college because they might not be ready. Everybody not gonna mature at the same time. You might have a kid that you can send to, say, Michigan, who gonna stay militant. You might have to keep that one. You ain't gonna be able to send him to a school that's all white. He might not adapt to it. It's going back to individuals.
So
But
we
we need to build our own. This is what I be saying. We gotta have our own institutions. We need our own school, our own traveling teams, our own agents. We need that type of stuff. Our own doctors. That's what it sounds like. We send them to everybody else.
But I think we still need to condition our children at home. We need to teach them at home because I can give you 2 examples right now. 2 real life examples. One, when my son was in high school, my son was a really, really good player. Of course, he got a scholarship to Minnesota, right? He's a really good player. So he had the coaches from Weberville. What the fuck is that? Weberville, and from God, I can't think of the other. Far as places, right? All white schools that wanted him there so bad. And they called me all the time. We'll come and get him. We'll take him to school. He can stay with our family. He's not doing none of that shit. He's staying right here and he's going right where he at right now. And those were the things that happened. So, but that happened to me because they can't talk to him, right? Because until they get to a certain age, they can't, even scouts can't talk to him, right? So they will all have to come to me. However, when he got older, right, and they were able to start talking to him, then those conversations started coming to him. Now, he goes to Minnesota, right? He's in Minnesota. Me and my son talk every day. We FaceTime every day. And so, he is experienced not only college life, but football life and all of that. So he's experiencing everything. It was 4 of them, 4 of the black boys, right? 4 or 5 of them. One of them got invited to a party and said, bring everybody. Now, mind you, they in Minnesota, it's all white, and they get to this party. They get to this party, and I only know this because my son phoned me on the phone. So, and we talked about it later. They get to the party, and they open the door, and there's a bunch of white girls in there. My son instantly back up. And so they looking around and so the other boy like, come on, this the party. He like, this the party? This don't look, my son. He is really like me. He got a lot of mouth like me. He's like, this don't look like no damn party. So he get on the phone. He say, "Ma, this look like a party." I said, "Nigga, if you don't get your ass out of there," right? And so we laughed. He said, "I'm gonna call you back." He gets off the phone. He laughing. Him and the other 3 boys was like, my son said, "Man, I'm out. I'm about to go. This don't look right." They all left. Now, they all left, one dude. So the other dude stayed in the dorm. The girl came down to his dorm, right? Said that he was looking for the roommate. Said, "Well, I live way over there. It's dark. I'm not coming back I'm not leaving until they come back." He's sitting playing the game. She said, "Can I just stay here until you get back?" He said, "Yeah." Right? Wrong move. So he said, "Yeah." The girl come in. The girl come in to lay on the bed or whatever. Said, "Can I lay? I'm tired. I'm sleepy," or whatever. That happened. She leaves or whatever happens, and she leaves. She said that the boy ended up raping her, and he going through that right now. Right now. All from going to a party, but that's the only one that she can point out because everybody else left.
See, man, I just hope that we don't put our youth, our students, our young people into those situations, like you said, like when they're going through that high school, that pre-college and college, like, it get real. And so we do need to make sure that we train them up. You know, that's our job as parents, both mother and father. And big shout out to those co-parents and those parents that are in their children's life and they're raising them. They're taking them to all these games. They're taking them to these recruiters. They're doing all the extra intangibles, right, to get them where they want to be. So big shout out to y'all because I grew up like watching a lot of that and I seen good parents that played a part. And so, you know, so that's a good kudos. But then at the same time, our students, man, our youth, our young people, be on the lookout for this nonsense. If you see something that look weird, crazy, man, don't go involved with it. Don't let them get you caught up because a lot of times that's what they look for you to do to fall. It's so unfortunate to be a black man or black woman in this country because a lot of times you got a lot of targets on you, right? And all we do is want to be beautiful people because that's who we are. But always understand our situations, understand how they try to play these games, and be much more mastermind than them, though. So always know that. And I really want to make sure that we always understand that, man, you know, these are our people. So we got to be the ones to set it up the way that make that work for us.
Makes sense, yeah.
So with that being said, I
gotta say this before we go. Please, because I got great grandkids, man, and you know, little ones, and I've been talking to them about sex, real sex. So don't be playing with that.
Absolutely.
Don't leave it to no imagination.
Thank you.
I be on it, you know what I mean? Sometimes the grandmother be, "Why you be so raw?" I ain't gonna leave it for chance. They ain't gonna be having no drama and not tell me. They gonna tell me, I wanna know. So I'm making sure they're comfortable about it. And that's what we all gotta do because again, sex is a beautiful thing and it's a natural part of being a human being. But we have to teach them not to be afraid or be ashamed. And once you give them that power, then they have power. Then they know they're not vulnerable. We don't want our babies to be vulnerable. We want our babies to be equipped with the information so they can have power and have choices. If they gotta run, scream, and kick and holler and bite, we teach them that.
Do all of that.
You know,
I think we
the
do
boys too. We gotta teach the boys and the girls.
I think we do
We
our
got some
children
predators
a
out here.
disservice when we sugarcoat things and we don't keep it real with them.
That's right.
Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna transition into our segment.
Yep.
We got community conversation, not even a community conversation, but a history impact.
You got that right now. Yeah, that's Saturday. It's Saturday. So who you bringing on for Saturday?
Saturday we're doing a tribute to a brother named Miller Ill.
Okay. So you want to segue?
He's paralyzed from the neck down.
Got you. We're going to segue to Brother Robert's history impact now?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm getting it now.
And history is so important in the context of where we are today. When you look at what's happening with those individuals that staged that January the 6th insurrection and how they are being treated, dealing with the laws and some of the charges that they have been charged with. I have been a part of several protests, and even in Washington, D.C. And I want to tell you guys, there are areas in Washington, D.C. that you cannot step on the grass. That is a federal offense to step on the grass. Even when protesting, you cannot step on the grass. And these people have been charged with unlawfully entering a building. I mean, some of the lowest charges I have never heard of in the history of this country is the way these people, these predominantly white people, are being treated. And this is a pure example about the laws in this country were never created, legislated, or even implemented to protect black and brown people. And this is what I really want to talk to us about. When we think about how does that correlate with our power, when we think about Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, segregation, at one time in this country, if you really think about it, we had no so-called rights at all. In my opinion, we don't have today, but let's give it 1865 with the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, which I think was a joke. And right after that, Jim Crow, and then the history of segregation. So if we talk about history in the context of where we are today, when you got states across the country, what Texas have just did with voting, and many other states are following suit, Florida have outlawed different aspects of protesting, that you cannot protest as far as being mistreated by the government. You will be arrested and charged with sedition or insurrection based on not conforming to this wicked, evil government laws and policies that they have implemented. And so you say, when I'm saying, how is this related? So often our people that looks like you and I wants to complain, especially those that have made some money or made some inroads in this system called America, and they live in the suburbs, or they have a certain income level, and you can say with the foolishness of the rappers, and the list can go on about the ignorance in our community and how we waste our money, because we are a body of people that have $1.5 trillion, and we give every penny of that to a white system. And that's where I was going with this conversation today when we're talking about laws, policies, and procedures. I have to stress and emphasize, we have no firepower. There's no way that we can outgun this system, but there is a way that we can collectively really get back to doing some things ourselves. If we want to look at 1955 with the so-called Montgomery boy bus cop, with dealing with Rosa Parks, and those things which had lasted 381 days. But before that, in 1956, before Dr. King came on the scene, it was a women's council. And I need to point out these women names that was the spearheading of this boycott of buses back in Montgomery, back in 1956. And I want to respect the women that really kicked this off. The first one was Miss Mary Fair Burks, Joanne Robertson, Irene West, Tamala Glass, and Urita Adams. And these black women were a part of a group called the Black Women's Council. And why I'm making a point about their efforts back in 1946, before Dr. King came on the scene, they had been protesting. the mistreatment that they are putting their money into a bus system or paying for to be mistreated. And we are paying to be mistreated today when we have the likes of our NBA players, our NFL players, our college players, or anybody that is playing sports today that is not standing up like Colin Kaepernick. And I know you guys going to push back. Y'all going to say that everybody have the right to make an income, or everybody has the right to make to earn a living. Well, there has to be a situation where your dollars that you are earning is totally unacceptable when we are dying daily at the hands of this system called America. And again, I just want to thank you guys. Again, this is this is History Impact, Black Lives Matter, Flint. My number is 810-394-4105. Email is mentorroberts@gmail.com. I will go in a little deeper on the next segment of this.
Photographs. He messaged digital photos of the possible victim to the Sun reporter. I canvassed this guy's regular corner. He has indeed been missing a couple of days. Got these photos from the newspaper, but we want to be able to intercept any future images.
Hence the amended order.
Correct.
Can we catch photos with our city equipment?
Absolutely no. We're still bumping around in the 20th century. But Howard County has the right software and a couple of their computers.
You need two?
Yeah, in case one computer goes down, got the other one as backup. Don't want to miss our shot at this nut.
Well, good hunting.
Put then, and we need to put that away, you know, we have to put that to the side, and I think we just need to start embracing each other and playing our roles, you know, and standing side by side and back to back and holding each other up. I think we need to just get that mentality, right?
I think one thing when you said about being a man, I think we as men gotta be honest, because when we don't know where we're going, how we gonna lead a family and provide for a family when I'm dealing with all these other issues. And I'm still being really a boy, because a man is a responsible human being. And many times we don't want to be honest and ask for help. So as you were just saying about being the man, so whatever, quote unquote, a lot of times we need to really, as men, we need to really work on reevaluating ourselves and really start coming at it in a different way and ask for help. We need to really start talking with strong men to help call us out on our BS, so we can be better fathers, better husbands, better friends, better uncles, better cousins, and better human beings. Because a lot of times we as men, we be dealing with so much fear, shame, and guilt, and we mask a lot of insanity because we don't feel valued. You know, we think we get value through our penis or our phallus, but we really don't, you know, it don't show up when you talk about building something. You know, and I think that has been the castration of us for 500 years. We've been castrated for so long that we are mimicking, and we really got a Eurocentric understanding about manhood now. That's what we're really dealing with.
I think you're right.
I think, though, to be honest too, I think that's when we're talking about valuing, that's so that would be a both-sided thing. I think, you know, women and men would value each other.
You're right.
A lot of times, you know, women have done a phenomenal job, and women have been holding it down for a long time. So I think they feel a certain type of way about men in general, and I know, you know, men have had a hard, stable black man in this country, just being who they are and just actualize itself because they deal with so much. And so, you know, we've been beat down a lot. We've been beat down so much. And now to the fact that, you know, we get beat down by our own people, and sometimes you may get beat down by your own woman in the house. And so the thing is, like, you know, we have to have better relations with each other. We have to show our children, like, that's why it's so important. I got 2 small children. So it's important that I teach my son, you know, responsibility about being a man, but he sees that through action, right? But then it's important for me to treat my daughter as the queen that she is, or the princess that she is, just so that she will be, and she need to know what that feel like. So I think, and then too, their relationship with each other, right? You know, because you know I'll be watching the dynamics, and I can see the dynamics, and you know maybe in the situation maybe with me and her mom, with their mom, right? It's the same, you know, some similar stuff. But I always try to tell them like, hey, all right, listen, y'all gonna be best friends right now, y'all two, right? Yeah, all the time. So you're gonna be fighting each other and doing these things, you know, knick-knack, and one thing you do this, and he gonna do this, and he gonna do this, you gonna do this, and then when you need him, he ain't gonna come to your aid, right? You know what I'm saying? And I tell him, like, but you should always come to her aid, right? You know what I'm saying? Even though, whatever the case may be, but at the same time, that doesn't give you free will. I'm talking to my daughter, just to be doing whatever you want, and treat them any type of way. It'd be hard for somebody to come to your aid. It'd be hard for him to come to your aid and slap me in his face. Right. You know what I'm saying? Those things, it's small dynamics, but that's how we have to be. We have to, and the queen said too, like, it's like no egos, but it's real love, genuine love for each other, genuine love for our women, just like we love our mothers, right? Genuine love for our sisters, our aunties, and even women that we may not even be dealing with. Somebody you see on the street, you have to have general love for women, and then also women, because women, we depend on women so much. We need that love from women. Like, we need to be validated by women sometimes. Because let me know that I'm doing a good job, I'm taking care of you, or I'm treating you right. If I'm not, then make sure you let me know that as well. But those are the things that we have to play on each other. But it's a 50-50 thing.
No, not a 50. It's 100.
Well, yeah,
It's
we
100.
say 100 right here.
That's right.
50-50.
No, I don't either. You know, I said that a long time ago when I first got here. That's
100.
But I think that I'm glad that you said that, because I think that we as women, that whole, we talked about this earlier because I said it, not with that whole feminist movement, and I think that is an issue. And that's been a lot of an issue for the way that we treat you all, because we on that feminist movement, you know, we need. No, I'm serious. You know, they rough. You know, I don't need you. I'm not that kind of independent.
Yeah,
I need you.
We want you.
I need you. I'm telling you, I need you.
Yeah, we glad that you said that.
No, I'm serious.
But who started
No,
this feminist movement?
I don't know, but I don't like it. I'm telling you.
It started back in the 60s.
But my point to that is that we have to get out that mindset of that we so independent that we don't need, everybody needs somebody at some point in time, right? And so, but I think us as black men and black women, we need to be valuing each other, and we need to know that we do need each other. We need each other for this fight in the world. We need this. We need each other for the fight against everything that is coming against us.
Right.
And we have to be the ones that's gonna hold y'all up, because if y'all taking care of us and y'all come in there, I gotta be able to hold you up, or I gotta be able to lick your wounds, because you can't, because you've been fighting all day.
Right.
So I gotta be able. I gotta be there, and I gotta be the one that's gonna, heal you and patch you up, so you can get back out there and fight. Right. I'm just saying, and I think that we as women, we have to do better and take on that role more. So, but we need the men to value us more, so that we feel comfortable enough to do that for you.
Come on now.
And I think that is the big disconnect, that we don't feel valued enough, that we feel safe enough to do that for you.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
Because
I felt like that. I felt like that numerous times. Like I wanna do that. I wanna be that, and I wanna do that. But I'm not feeling comfortable enough to do that because I feel like if I step back, you're gonna drop the ball and I can't afford that to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so then if I do step back a little bit and I see the ball dropping, then I gotta step back in and I don't want to though. So it forces our hand to be that independent. It forces our hand to be that strong and that, because I didn't get this way just from nothing and not having those experiences, but I do know because I'm more conscious about it and I think about it on a different level because I'm not on that feminist movement, that I want to step back and be out the way. So when you come in, that all I do is I care for you.
And trust me, let it be known, man want that. Don't let them, they can talk all that stuff all they want to. At the end of the day, they want to come home to that. They don't want to sit up there and be, doing all this on their own, and whatever the case may be. I think more or less like, you said that women been holding down and they feel like they have to be independent. That's our fault as men. So you kind of just said it. Like, we ain't making them feel comfortable enough for us to take the lead. Y'all want to be leaders. Y'all want to take the lead. You want to be a man of the house. But our women ain't even feeling comfortable with you taking that role. And that's a problem. That's something that disconnect happened.
It is.
Because we by design are supposed to be the protectors, providers, and supporters, and let them stand on our backs or on our shoulders, whatever, right? That's what it's supposed to be. But I don't think we've been doing a phenomenal job with that. You know what I'm saying? We all have to take a hit on that. I think as men, we have lost our purpose and way.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking black men right now. I think we lost our purpose and way, and I think we have became these beautiful males, right? You know what I'm saying? And we was having a discussion because let me just real quick. So they did a study with rats, right? So they had all these rats. They gave them an abundance of food, water, and etc. Right? So upon that 10-year study, halfway they were repopulating, having children. They were doing those things that they were supposed to be doing, right? But then the bigger rats, after so long, the bigger rats started attacking the smaller rats, and then they stopped reproducing. So, and then after that, years after that, then it became the fact that, it created this new species of beautiful rats, right? They were just like the biggest rats, right? They wasn't reproducing, and they were just kind of hard, had all the resources and, beating up the little ones, right? To this point of the day, like, it feel like, we have kind of lost our purpose, but then also lost our way, and then now we become so enamored with materialistic things and looking all good and all this extra stuff, and we ain't thinking about investing in our queens,
our children.
We ain't thinking about, supporting our children, taking care of our children, not just paying child support. That ain't nothing. I'm talking about really spending time, really developing, really picking them up to school, really spending that one-on-one.
We spend more time with our car than we do our children.
But in that point, you don't take your kid out there, your son out there to spend that time on the car with you.
To show them how to do the car, and that's a bonding experience. So as black men, as males, man, we heard it first from even our queens. Like, we do got to do better. Like, we want to be ahead of the house. We do want to be that. We want to take care of our children. But it's like we got to put the action for it. And it's really reclaiming who we are and getting back to the basics, right? Putting in the work. A lot of times, you want to get the quick dollars and scam and all this other silly stuff. Then we lose the brother to the system, right? And then, all this other stuff. Now
And then
children are growing up without it, right?
When you lose a brother to the system, then that's the domino effect.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose.
Yeah.
So everybody is hurt. Everybody is destroyed. Because that one man being lost or two men being lost, that's a family, children.
Which goes back to us having to be independent because now it's gone.
Right.
And it go right back, and it's right back
And
to
that
us.
vicious cycle.
And that's where we still not feeling comfortable. We still not feeling valued.
Right. Feeling important. Feeling desired. And then when you're saying feeling special.
Yeah.
Because those kind of special things are being treated special, you get it when you treat somebody special.
Absolutely.
But we got to be honest by calling our black men out. There's some things that we need to do. And when you run around with pink and yellow hair, Lord help me. When you run around with pink and yellow
brothers?
yeah, brothers. Or purple and red hair. Or tan, your locks are tan on one side and burgundy on the other side. It's totally unacceptable.
Okay.
Your pants sagging. How I'm gonna follow you as a woman and your pants sagging? How is that attractive? And again, we have become so feminized. That's what's going on because you got women raising boys. You got women raising boys, and a lot of
That's
times,
what happens.
even in the conversation that we have with these young boys now, they're talking like women. They smacking. They smacking their lips when they talking to you, man.
What about all these tight pants? Yeah, hold on, wait a minute. Did y'all see the event? Was it the event? What was it? They just had the ball with a
The Met Gala?
the Met Gala. Did you see how the men showed up in dresses?
No.
You ain't see what's the basketball player now with the Westbrook?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
be
on the
doing
cute.
some weird stuff. I don't know what's wrong with that. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man.
Be
Listen,
careful.
they be putting on these dresses and thinking it's fly. But that goes back to what they saying. You raised by your mother, you raised by a woman, right? You ain't having no influence by your father, right? You get influenced by the radio, all these tight jeans and all this stuff. Sometimes my jeans, I don't be wearing the tight jeans, but you know what I'm saying? I be trying to have it fit. Okay, thank you.
No, you know what I'm talking about. I'm saying these brothers is
With
like
the dress is going crazy with it.
with the
That's
time I'm
too
talking
far.
about like
Them
like
the ones that look like leggings. I know.
right like
That's crazy. That's. We gotta call that stuff out because you know what? We gotta really just showcase real manhood. Like folks are scared to be man, right? Because to be honest with you, think about the world. Now we all, you know, the feminist movement is one thing, right? And then they feminizing our males, right? You can't speak out about it, or you can't feel like you can't speak out about it, or they gonna come with the groups, right? It be some bunch of silly stuff. But what we gotta really have some real understandings with us.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Real
this is
understanding.
real principles that we live by. We real warriors, and we come from this type of culture. So this has never been us wearing these dresses. This has never us been wearing these leggings or anything like that. So what we saying is like we just got to reestablish real manhood is
Right.
taking care of your family, being good to your woman, not you know womenizing folks and all this other stuff, and you know sitting on the director's couch. But we just gotta be better, man. Like that's what they asking. That's what the ladies is asking from us. That's what the world is waiting on. They're waiting on real men.
I'm asking. I'm asking.
Real talk.
I really am because that's just one of those things, right? Because it's not all of us want to be in this feminist movement. There's some of us that really want to be, because we in the fight with you, right? Sometimes we out in the lead and you're not fighting with us. We doing the fighting. However, but when we are in a fight with you, we want you to recognize that we are, and we want to feel valued, and we want you to know that you can come home and lay your head right here in my lap. I got you. You ain't gotta think about none of that. We gonna watch TV. We gonna do whatever. We gonna chill out. We ain't gonna think about what's outside of these four walls with us. I'm just gonna hold you down right here, and you gonna know that you loved and you protected, and you can not be as strong as you gotta be out there. You don't have to do all that fighting. You can just relax and you can do all that. I would love to be able to be that, but y'all don't give me no reason to do it.
that's it.
No reason to do it. But we want a reason to do that. We want to, because that's in our nature as well, right?
Right.
It's our nature to be nurturers.
Nurturers.
And we
Right.
want to continue to nurture you.
Right.
But if you don't allow us to, then we can't.
Right. No, yeah, that is what we want. At the end of the day, that's what we want. We want that. I did want to let me read this comment too. A lot of men are struggling with their childhood. Get therapy, a counselor, or a brotherhood.
Yes.
Absolutely. And there's no shame in
No
that.
shame.
There's no shame.
That's
in
that's a big issue in our community.
that. Absolutely.
Just I think therapy get a bad negative.
Bad,
Like,
right.
you know, it might be crazy or something. But no, it's like really like having conversations and talking things through. Because sometimes your thoughts in your mind be cloudy. You got a lot of stuff going on, and you just need to process. And there's nothing wrong with letting all that negative energy out. I'll be pent up with a lot of stuff, and this is my therapy when I be sitting talking with them. So it's more like, everybody need therapy because we all traumatized. I don't know, ain't nobody in here.
You live in
not
America, you're
traumatized. Everybody
traumatized.
is traumatized to some degree.
But even our conversations off the camera and just like if you call me on the phone or I call you, like we have real discussions about whatever is going on that's therapeutic for us, and so we are each other's therapy session, and I think that's big too, to have a circle that you can do that with.
That's right.
That is huge, to be able to have a circle that you can do that with, that you can trust enough to bring those issues with and know that they're not going to go any further.
That's right.
But if somebody's going to give you real constructive criticism and not be a yes man to you, because that's what you need, because and hold you accountable for things, to be able to say, no, that was wrong. You need to do that better. Or to say, you know what, you were right. You were
I'm supposed
absolutely
to take
right.
that. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're right.
Yeah.
Let me fix it.
Yeah.
Now y'all ready to wrap? I understand y'all was having a good conversation. What y'all gonna do to end it out?
Okay. Right.
Yes, yes. So, we have Saturday, we have community conversation.
Gonna be outstanding. We're giving a tribute to Miller Hill, a brother that's paralyzed from the neck down. I'm calling several people. We're gonna be doing Zoom and a wide range of things. There should be an audience about 15 or 20 guys gonna be down here. So looking forward to everybody being a part of it.
Y'all come out.
Okay,
Come
community
on, support.
conversation at 10 o'clock on the platform.
10 o'clock.
Definitely
Be in
check it
the
out.
be in the place.
That's right. And I just wanna say, to close out on my end, I just wanna say, listen, y'all, we have to, we as black people have to love each other, and we gotta love on each other. We have to make sure that we are uplifting our brothers and sisters, even if it's nothing but a smile or, hey, how you doing if you passing by. We need to do that, and we have to be standing on the principles that we know that are right, and we have to stand out against these things that we know are wrong,
Yes.
including Westwood Heights.
That's
Y'all,
right.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That brother always said we got to strap the dynamite to that whole school.
That's
and
right.
board, man. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
You guys earned the donkey of the day. You know, with the
Absolutely.
crash dummies of the week.
Crash
Yeah,
dummy
You
of the
guys
week.
are the crash dummies of the week. Peter
I'm
told
telling
you
you.
was driving that mug, and you just a sucker for life.
That's right.
So my closing words, man, I definitely take words from what we talked about today. I think we've been having a nurturing conversation and talking about where we want to be in our place as black people. I think two things we want to take away from this. We want to be economically sound, but then also we want to be educated on us.
That's
So
right.
always know that we are some powerful people.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to believe that first, though, right?
Yes.
The rest of the world knows it, but it don't mean nothing until you do or we do as a group of people. So understand, like, we need more love. We got enough gangsters and enough heavy hitters and all those things, man. When we talking about just showing real value for people, that's showing real love for humanity, and we don't showcase enough. So stop taking in all that negativity. Be around these positive groups, right? Making sure that you go ahead and reflect and let that stuff off that you may be pent up inside of you that you may not have had a chance to talk about. So these are the things that we want to contribute to. This whole year has been about total healing. We're coming off a crisis. We're looking at where we're going to be in 2022. We're establishing strong leadership on a local government level, and we're looking at business ideas that we can go ahead and put in our position to create generational wealth. It's a special time to be black, and it's nothing that I wouldn't want to be, and it's nothing that I never want to share than other things than with you all. So I think for us, man, this is our time. This is really the time to be able to shift all that. So let's be better people. Let's be better men. Let's be better women. Let's be better children. Let's make sure that we showcase the world what true Afrocentric love and culture is all about, right? Because Akibelon, that's the original name of Africa,
Right.
it is expecting much more from us, and our ancestors are watching.
Right.
I'm watching.
And you owe that back.
All
Absolutely.
right.
And with that being said, so community conversation at 10 o'clock this Saturday.
Saturday,
We got anything else?
Conda.
Black Friday. Black Friday coming up soon.
Yeah.